So if you're working in the AI space right now, you've probably noticed the conversation has, well, it's shifted. The question isn't, should we use AI anymore? Nope. It's something way, way tougher.
Here it is. This is the question executives are asking now. Can you prove this AI investment will deliver returns before we spend a single dollar? You know, the era of just playing around with AI, of having experimental budgets, that's over. Every single investment now demands some serious financial justification.
And the stakes? They are incredibly high. Because if you don't have a rock-solid plan, a staggering 60% of AI projects are basically destined to fail. Just think about that. That's why having a proper framework isn't just, a nice to have. It's absolutely essential for survival.
So, why do so many of these calculations go off the rails? Well, it pretty much boils down to 3 fatal mistakes that organizations just keep making when they try to predict the return on their AI investment.
Okay, fatal mistake number 1, treating AI like it's just another piece of traditional software. See, with regular software, things are predictable. Costs are known, the value is pretty linear. But AI, it's a totally different animal. Its value compounds, but the costs are super front-loaded, and the benefits, well, they're probabilistic. They're not guaranteed.
And that mindset leads directly to fatal mistake number 2, underestimating the total cost. This is a huge one. Organizations consistently, and I mean consistently, underestimate their AI investment by 40 to 60%. Why? Because the real costs aren't on the vendor's invoice. They're hiding. They're buried in things like data prep, system integration, and all the change management you have to do.
Which brings us to fatal mistake number 3. Focusing only on the hard ROI, the direct, easy-to-count stuff like labor savings. But if you only look at that, you're completely ignoring the soft ROI, and honestly, that's often where the real magic is. We're talking about things like the speed of your decision-making, your capacity for innovation, and your strategic position in the market. Okay, so enough with the problems. How do you actually get it right? Well, the solution is a structured 5-step framework that the most successful organizations use to build a business case that actually survives contact with reality. So here's the roadmap. It all starts with step 1. You've got to have clear, measurable business objectives. Then step 2, calculate the total investment cost, all those hidden expenses included. Step 3, quantify the benefits you expect across all dimensions, hard and soft. Step 4 is applying the right ROI formula. And finally, step 5, you model different scenarios and build a bulletproof business case. Let's see what that actually looks like. So let's make step 1 really practical. A vague goal like, let's improve customer service with AI. That's useless for calculating ROI. It's just a wish. A good objective is specific. It's measurable, it's anchored in financials. Something like, we will reduce our average response time from 4 hours down to 30 minutes, which enables a 20% reduction in our support headcount inside of 12 months. See the difference? Now that's an objective you can build a real business case around.
All right, let's zoom in and really calculate the real numbers here. We're going to tackle the 2 trickiest parts of that whole framework. Step 2, calculating costs, and step 3, quantifying benefits. Because honestly, this is where most business cases just completely fall apart.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. When you get that big invoice from your AI vendor, that is just the tip of the iceberg. As you can see here, the actual technology might only be about 35% of your total spend. The rest of your money? It gets eaten up by implementation, people costs, and yeah, that tricky little slice for hidden costs.
So what exactly are these hidden costs? Well, they're all the work that happens outside the software. You literally have to redesign your business processes to use the AI effectively. You've got to run exhaustive security reviews, and you'll spend countless hours just managing stakeholders. None of this is on the price tag, but if you fail to plan for it, you're looking at that 40 to 60% surprise blowing up your total budget.
Okay, now let's flip over to the benefits side. Instead of just pulling one super optimistic number out of thin air, a really defensible case models the benefits across multiple scenarios. What's a conservative outcome look like? What's the realistic one? And what's the pie-in-the-sky optimistic scenario? By giving each a probability, you get a weighted average that actually accounts for real-world uncertainty. This is how you build a forecast that people will actually believe.
All right, you've done all the hard work. You have crunched the numbers. Now for the final step, packaging all of this data into a compelling story that actually gets that executive buy-in.
And a visual like this is just brilliant for making the financial argument. You don't just present your solution in a vacuum. You have to compare it against the other real options. What's the cost of doing nothing? What happens if we just try to improve things manually? And then, how does our AI solution stack up against those? This shows you've done your homework, and it makes the final choice crystal clear.
So, your final package, the thing you hand over, should look something like this. It's not just a number, it's a complete story. You need that quick executive summary, your full financial model. You need to lay your key assumptions bare, have a clear implementation plan, and a thorough risk assessment. This is the level of detail that shows you are serious, and it's what gets you a yes from the decision makers.
You know, it all really comes down to this core philosophy. Calculate first, invest second, and measure always. In the world of AI, that kind of financial discipline isn't just good practice. It is the single biggest differentiator between a spectacular success and a really, really costly failure.
So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own work. Is your next AI investment going to be built on hope, or is it going to be built on numbers?